Something huge just went down in Baltimore, and you need to hear it right now. It's about Mark Andrews, and the kind of news that's so good, so unexpected, it instantly changes the entire mood around the team. You know that feeling when something big suddenly flips the script? Yeah, that's exactly what's happening at this very moment. And what makes it even more intriguing is the timing. This announcement comes right when nobody really knew what Baltimore's next step would be. But now the message is crystal clear. Major decisions are being made, heavy moves are happening behind the scenes. And once you hear what this actually means, you'll understand why today might end up being a turning point for the Ravens. When the Ravens announced that Mark Andrews would stay for 3 more years, it brought this immediate sense of calm. The same feeling you get when you realize the guy who makes the offense flow is staying exactly where he belongs. It was one of those decisions that made sense even before the numbers came out. Baltimore knew they couldn't risk letting someone this important get anywhere near the market. Eric DeCosta talked about the extension with a tone that showed exactly how much Andrews means to this franchise. This wasn't just another contract. It was confirmation that the team still leans on the guys who deliver, who represent the city, and who are always ready to carry the offense when things tighten up. Andrews has become that kind of player, someone you instantly recognize as one of the pillars of the team's identity. And when you think about his connection with Lamar Jackson, everything becomes even clearer. They grew together, turned the QB, TE chemistry into one of the most consistent in the league, and gave the Ravens offense a backbone that holds up when the stakes get high. Keeping Andrews isn't just about talent. It's about preserving a connection that's proven to work time and time again. With this extension, Baltimore didn't just keep one of its top playmakers. They doubled down on the path they want to follow from here. And once you take a closer look at what this contract represents, the investment that came with it starts to make even more sense. When the numbers came out, $39.3 million with $26 million guaranteed. It became obvious that the Ravens didn't just want to keep Andrews. They knew exactly how important he is to the team's future. It's one of those deals that speaks loudly without needing a long explanation. Baltimore isn't letting a player of this caliber walk. This kind of commitment shows confidence and shows planning. The guaranteed money is what really jumps out, because it makes one thing clear. The franchise believes Andrews still has a lot more to offer. They're not just paying for what he's done. They're betting on what he's about to do. It's a sign that the offense is set to keep one of its biggest engines running at full strength. And when you look around the league and compare tight ends, you can quickly see how this contract cements Andrews as one of the most respected players at the position. He's proven himself year after year, stepping up in the biggest moments, and this deal only reinforces what his production has already made obvious. It's not an exaggeration to say he's one of the most reliable players Baltimore has. With the financial side clear, what really stands out is how perfectly this extension lines up with the historic numbers Andrews has been putting up. And that's where things get even more interesting. The list of milestones Andrews has hit recently is the kind that makes anyone stop and think about just how big his impact really is. He joined Travis Kelce as the only tight ends in NFL history to lead their franchise in catches, yards, and touchdowns. That doesn't happen by luck. That happens when someone performs a high level for a long time, game after game, season after season. In 2024, he became the Ravens' all-time leader in receiving touchdowns, hitting 56. And he didn't stop there. He passed Derek Mason in receiving yards, and not long after, he also passed him in receptions. These milestones show the kind of legacy Andrews is building, one that goes beyond the stats and gets woven into the team's identity. What makes it even more impressive is how steady it's been. It wasn't one breakout year or some lucky stretch. It was consistent, reliable work. He's the kind of player who shows up when you need a safe throw, who turns tough situations into big gains. Very few tight ends in the NFL keep that level for this long. With numbers this strong and this recent, the extension becomes even more logical because he's not just maintaining his level, he's breaking records while heading into the next chapter of his career. And that connects directly to the situation with the rest of the tight end group.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
One important detail here is that Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and Charlie Kolar were all set to hit free agency at the end of 2025. That meant the Ravens were at real risk of losing 3 players from the same position in the same offseason. Extending Andrews wasn't just strategic, it was preventative. It kept the team from walking into a completely unnecessary problem. When you look at how Likely and Kolar developed, you can tell they grew by playing alongside Andrews. They formed a solid trio with different strengths that complemented each other, giving the Ravens a level of versatility most teams don't have. Losing all 3 at once would have been a nightmare for any offensive coordinator. By locking in Andrews now, Baltimore sets an anchor in the group. No matter what happens with Likely or Kolar down the road, the main piece stays in place. And that not only preserves the identity of the position, it also gives the team the clarity it needs to make the next decisions. With Andrews secured, the rest can be handled calmly and strategically. And this stability opens a door to looking back at Andrews' journey since the 2018 draft, a journey that helps explain why he became so important to franchise. Mark Andrews arrived in Baltimore in 2018 as a 3rd-round pick, coming right after Hayden Hurst and in the same class as Lamar Jackson. Even without the first-round label, he found his place quickly. His chemistry with Lamar started early, and their development together became one of the most defining stories of the franchise in recent years. The real breakout came in 2019, when Andrews scored 10 touchdowns and showed he had more than potential. He had real impact. That season marked the beginning of his rise into one of the most dominant tight ends in the league. Since then, he's earned 3 Pro Bowls, a first-team All-Pro season, and numbers that put him firmly among the best at his position. What makes Andrews special is that he never stayed boxed into the traditional tight end role. He always found creative ways to influence the game, and the most recent example was his first rushing touchdown, that wild under-center play that sealed the win in Cleveland. It's the kind of moment that shows how well he understands the game and how much trust the staff has in him. With all of that in mind, the extension barely feels like just another contract. It feels like the natural continuation of a journey that has only grown stronger with time, setting up whatever comes next in one of the most meaningful partnerships in Ravens history. This entire decision from the Ravens makes one thing clear. Mark Andrews is still at the center of the project, and that completely shifts the tone for the team's immediate future. The contract, the on-field impact, and the confidence from the front office reveal more than a financial move. They show direction, purpose, and a clear plan to keep this offense sharp when moments get tight. After everything Andrews has done and keeps doing, it's impossible to ignore how big the step is for what comes next. Now, the question is simple. Does this move push the Ravens to another level, or is there still something missing for this offense to truly take off? Because whether anyone likes it or not, the decision is made, and the message sent is huge. If this plan works the way Baltimore expects, the impact could be massive, and if it doesn't, well, that's a completely different conversation. We'll find out together where this goes.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.